Hello class, and welcome to week 2, module 2 in our chemistry course. Today is Tuesday, September 5th, and we're meeting on this Tuesday because Labor Day, we technically gave you guys off, which was yesterday. But now moving forward, I will do these live class times, which again, I'm kind of just using this time to introduce the material for the week and to make sure you guys are on the right track with assignments due this week. But moving forward, we will meet every Monday at 10 a.m. Central for the remainder of the semester. So it's great to have you guys here. You guys are asking some great questions. If you're lost at all or still have questions with anything, please let me know. So I'm in our Moodle course, and like usual, every week I send out a weekly announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and click on today's weekly announcement. This will be the announcement for the week of September 5th. Through the week of September 10th. Look for our live class recording posted later today on our course YouTube channel. And again, you can get to our course YouTube channel by clicking this link. When you click this link, it's going to start playing on the welcome video. But if you click more and copy link and then open it to a new window, you'll be able to get to our entire kind of course YouTube channel link here. And the YouTube channel link will include the lessons for that week. I have the video recording from our live class from last Tuesday, and the lessons 1.3 and 1.4 are already recorded for you. And those lessons will be what you're going to focus on this week. So this week we are finishing chapter 1, which means you'll have a test due at the end of this week as well. But again, feel free to make sure you always look at these weekly announcements where I will post anything that you might need to know for that week. A little bit of an encouragement. My daily Bible verse was from Lamentations 3, verse 22 to 24 today. And I thought it was just a good encouragement for you if you're feeling a little overwhelmed or stressed out, or you have a lot on your plate right now. Remember that because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion. There I will wait for him. So kind of take every day as the beginning of a new day and a day that you can best serve him. So that's your announcement section. Again, let me know if you have any questions or you want to come join me in my Zoom office forum. I'm going to click down then, and I'm going to pass the general course information. And now I'm going to open up our module 2, where we'll be focused on how scientists think and solve problems in this module. In this module, you will be reading lessons 1.3 and 1.4 in your textbook, which I have linked. You can watch those lesson videos on our YouTube channel. Again, my lesson videos will be between 10 to 15 minutes for each of these lessons. And then you'll take the notes for lessons 1.3 and 1.4. So I'm just going to open up the notes section and pull up the chapter 1 notes for last week. You guys completed and submitted the notes for section 1.1, where it gives you some questions and some space to kind of write your own notes and answer some questions at the bottom. So this is what you did last week, sections 1.1 and 1.2. And then moving forward this week, we have section 1.3 notes, where it kind of gives you, again, an outline of the section, some space for you to maybe write your own notes down or write out definitions or write answers to those end of chapter questions. Again, it's kind of like your study notebook. And then there are some questions at the end, of each section that you should answer. And that's what I'm going to be checking on for your grades. And then there's section 1.4. If you guys are filling out these notes well and you understand, the outline they're giving you, and you're filling out the assessment questions and you're understanding those, you will be just fine on all quizzes and all tests, because I really take my questions from quizzes and tests from these notes until we get to kind of the solving numerical problems and conversion problems, where you might have to know how to do like the math problem. And I'll give you another example of that, but we'll get into that really next week and in chapter 2. Okay, so those are your notes that you'll be submitting. Reading the textbook, watching the lesson videos. We have a new discussion forum question for module 2. So for module 2, the discussion forum, I'm kind of leaning on a problem-solving technique that you will be learning about when you read through the lessons 1.3 and 1.4, and then I give you kind of a problem for you guys to solve. And I know this is a discussion, so go ahead and solve the problem in your initial post and don't necessarily worry about maybe getting everything right, and see if your classmates can kind of help. So your initial post will be solving the problem. Try to describe how you solve the problem. Maybe, I know it's hard to show your work in a text box, but try to explain how you solve the problem the best you can. And then so try to get your initial post in by Wednesday at midnight. And then your 2 reply posts are always due Sunday at midnight. In your reply posts, maybe ask your classmates a little bit more how to explain something difficult. Or maybe, just comment and say, this was really confusing to me, but thanks for helping me explain it a little bit better. So there's your Module 2 discussion forum. It's kind of a word problem where you will implement these problem-solving strategies that we learned about in section 1.4, I believe. So there's your Module 2 discussion forum. The Lab 1, I give you another week to do this literature review. And again, for this literature review, I gave you 2 weeks to do it. What you're doing is you're picking a chemistry paper from one of these peer-reviewed journals down here. So these articles are found in one of these peer-reviewed journals. So you can pick any article you want, read that full paper, write a 5-paragraph review. I'm not sure if we'll be able to present it, but you will upload your paper to Moodle. And it gives you a little bit of a summary of how you can write. So write 1 paragraph, about 4 to 6 sentences for each of the following questions. And this will be about 50 points. So that's a little bit more. This literature review will be due this Sunday, September 10th at midnight. If you have any questions about that, please always let me know. Send me a message in Canvas or to my email. I do have another quick lab, a bubble activity. So this is another activity that will be found in your textbook. So I'm going to pull up the chapter 1 textbook on page 17 in your textbook. And I go by the pages that your textbook are marked as, not as how they're marked on the Google Drive. So go down to page 17, which I believe you'll notice is page 18 that the Google Drive tells you, but it will actually be page 17 in your textbook, as you can see here. And there's just a really quick lab that has to do with bubbles. And if you try the best you can to do this lab at home, it gives you the materials: drinking cups, a measuring cup, spoons, liquid dish detergent, water, sugar, salt, and a drinking straw. And if you don't have all these materials at home, or you can't do it, try to analyze and conclude and answer these 4 questions the best you can. But this kind of gives you a little bit of a hands-on lab in your home. So what you're going to do is you'll label 3 drinking cups, 1, 2, and 3, and you'll measure and add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent to each cup. You'll use the measuring cup to add 2/3 cup of water to each drinking cup. You'll swirl the cups around to form a clear mixture and wipe up any spills so no one falls. Then you'll add a 1/2 teaspoon of table sugar to cup 2, a 1/2 teaspoon of table salt to cup 3. You'll dip your drinking straw into cup 1, remove it, and blow gently into the straw to make the largest bubble you can. And you'll practice making bubbles until you feel you have a reasonable control over your bubble production. This one might be fun to do if you have siblings around or friends. You'll repeat step 4 with mixtures 2 and 3. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to see if there's any differences in your ability to produce bubbles using the mixtures between 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and then what can you conclude about the effects of table sugar and table salt on your ability to produce bubbles. So I'm curious to see what you guys can find out with that, how table sugar and table salt will affect your ability to create bubbles. Designing an experiment, what I want you to do for number 4 then is to propose another hypothesis related to bubble making and then design an experiment to test your hypothesis. So maybe now you want to add food coloring to the bubbles, or maybe you want to add lime juice or lemon juice. So I want you to kind of design your own experiment, propose another hypothesis related to bubble making, and then just design an experiment to test your hypothesis. Remember that in order to do the steps of the scientific method, you observe a problem, and then the hypothesis is kind of your estimated guess or answer to that problem. So maybe your hypothesis would be, I believe adding food coloring will make the bubbles last longer or make more. And then I would design an experiment to test how food coloring would make larger lasting bubbles. So that's kind of just a little quick lab, kind of something fun to do this week, again, on your own time. And I think then that gives you kind of, we're down to number 6. The last thing you'll need to do this week is to complete the test on chapter 1. And I will open this test for you on Friday, September, was Friday the 8th or the 9th? I'll double check that, but it will be open on Friday for you. Yours will look a little different, but what you'll need to do is it'll ask you for your first and last name, and then it'll take you through sections of questions. This is using a Google Doc sheet. You shouldn't need a Gmail address to do this, but let me know if anyone has problems after I open this, but it will be open on Friday for you. It's out of 50 points. Each question is between 2 to 4 points. Some are multiple choice, some are short answer. If you've been doing those notes and answering the assessment questions and watching the videos and reading your textbook, you'll be well prepared for this chapter 1 test. So that'll be your chapter 1 test. Open on Friday, which is September 8th. So I had a little, I'm gonna edit that real briefly now, just so there's no confusions here. It will be open on Friday, September 8th. And then as usual, join our weekly Zoom call meetings. This week's will be on Tuesday, but moving forward, they'll be on Mondays at 10 a.m. So moving down in this module 2 section, I give you the link to the chapter PowerPoints, the link to the textbook, the link to the notes that you'll fill out, and then a link to our chemistry YouTube channel. Here's where you can submit those questions from the bubble activity. This is where you can submit your Lab 1 literature review. Here's your Module 2 discussion, the notes submission, and then here's then a link to the Chapter 1 test. So thank you for your patience as I'm developing this course. I'm working on creating modules, so they're available to you a little bit more ahead of time in case you want to work ahead. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And as usual, please let me know if you have any questions. And thank you for listening.